Welcome back. You're watching News Night. 11 states in Nigeria are on high alert as Cameroon begins releasing water from the Lagdo Dam. The dam operators say the water discharge will be gradual to avoid flooding and ensure that the water levels do not exceed the capacity of the Benue River system. The Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency has called for increased vigilance in states along the Benue River, including Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Edo, Delta, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River, and Rivers State. Now let's bring in the Director of the Operational Hydrology of the National Hydrological Services Agency, Femi Bejide. Thank you very much for joining us on News Night tonight. I mean, we had you here a few days ago to respond to the flooding in Borno State, and you did warn that things are moving south as far as that's concerned. Now, let's talk about the release of this Lagdo Dam. We're told that the water releases would be gradual at the rate of 100 cubic meters? Right, starting from September 17th, yesterday. Tell us more about what we need to know about the release of this dam.
Yeah, thank you for having me. The release of water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, it's not new to us. Yeah. It's something that is normal. What is necessary is the management of the water being released and better understanding with the management and the managers in Lagdo Dam. And the Director General of NISA, Omar Ibrahim Mohammed, one thing he has ensured since inception of office is that to quickly put in place that there is synergy, greater synergy with Cameroonian governments, especially the dam managers, which we have a robust collaboration now than ever before. Before they release water without our knowledge, but now we interface on a daily basis. So, and that's why we have been able to secure this gradual release. Right. We have our monitoring stations as Uroboki, Adamawa State. That is the first entry points of the waters coming from Lagdo Dam into Nigeria. And we have also at that station, we have the various signs. We have the white, which is normal. We have the yellow, which is get prepared. And we have the red, which is the alerts.
So now that it's been released since 17th, yesterday in Adamawa, the Adamawa end, what are you observing so far?
We, right now, as of today, this morning, the level of water is about 6.7 meters. But if it gets to around 8 meters, that is when we have red alerts. That is to say, the water that is being released already is just enough to pass through the river Benue system down to Lokoja, then to Atlantic Ocean. So, and that is the agreement to moderate this water that we'll be able to. So with this
moderation, we will not have the situation we had in 2012
or 2022.
And 2022.
Yes.
Right.
If this arrangement is taken, we monitor it like that, there won't be any need for that, cause for that alarm.
But ordinarily, are there ways that Nigeria can take advantage of this released waters from the Lagdo Dam to maybe help our irrigation and all of that? There must be some kind of use that Nigerian authorities can put, this excess water to.
Yes, but because we are already in rainy season.
So we have too much water already.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but what we need to do is that, and what we have proposed, and waiting for the approval of the federal government is that, in NISA, is that we have to build a buffer dam, at least 5 buffer dam, not only on River Benue system, but also on River Niger, to at least in the intermediate measures to build that. That also will reduce drastically the effect of flooding in Nigeria. But on the interim, as a short term, we need also to build now what we call just retention basins, small, just earth dams here and there, which now we are already in the middle of the rainy season. That cannot be done. So the only thing that is feasible to be done is this collaboration quickly with Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency and with the management of Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, which we are engaging.
So we're more or less, Nigeria is more or less still at the mercy of the Cameroonian authorities. You know, when you say there's really nothing much we can do other than the kind of engagement that you've had with them, you know, getting them to release this water gradually. And I'm thinking, are there other measures that the Nigerian authorities, you know, could have put in place beyond just having engagements?
Yes, that's what I've said earlier. Yeah. There are a lot of things, but they are long-term. They are not short-term. So those ones, government is looking at it, and they will be doing that after this season. But for this...
Is that likely to happen? Are you advising government to begin to put those measures in place?
Yes.
Immediately?
Yes. The vice president is even the chairman of the report that we have submitted on mitigating flood in Nigeria. He is in custody of that report, and the government is looking at it. One of the recommendations of that report is the giving of the states 3 billion naira, which they have done already. So they are implementing it.
Well, did you go further to advise on exactly how the 3 billion naira given to the states should be deployed? Are there specific areas?
It's just flood mitigation because it differs from states to states. So it's for flood mitigation.
In a place like Borno, for example, where we've had this experience, what kind of flood mitigation should they be putting in place?
Yes, Borno has already been flooded, even severely flooded.
Badly.
So, and the water, thank God, is receding. So what I expect that, number one, the channels, they should engage in channelization, increasing the channels all throughout the states and metropolis, metropolis. Number two, they should also early warning, invest in a flood early warning system. And at all the flood-prone places, of course, they have the experience now, so they know the places now, so they can do it. They can collaborate also, leverage with us, Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, to come and install monitoring stations, like the 2 rivers that brings water to Lagdo Dam. It's not monitored. So the state government can take this initiative with this part of this money to establish stations there so that they can monitor the amount of water flowing into Lagdo Dam. And if it's rising also, just like we monitor the one coming from Benue now, Cameroon into Nigeria, they will also have early warning to be able to prepare, even if to evacuate people, that such massive destruction would have been at least minimized.
So, well, this Lagdo Dam release, going back to that, there are a number of states that were ruled out. That would be about 12 states out of 36, and they spread all across the country?
No, they are in the River Benue basins, yes.
Okay. Now, the last time you were here, just like I mentioned earlier, you had warned that the flooding is going to, will move towards the southern part of the country. We're hearing that Bayelsa is already, at the receiving end. What kind of preparations should they be putting in place so that things don't get totally out of hand?
Yes. Places like Bayelsa states, it's just, they are in the floodplain, in the delta, the last receiving end. I did say it here and I will repeat is that people have to appreciate the geographical positioning of Nigeria. Number one, River Niger is a transboundary river cutting across 9 countries. And rivers does not flow upward, it flows downward. So all those countries are upstream and come and emptying into Nigeria. River Benue also the same thing, also from Cameroon emptying into Nigeria. And now Nigeria has a massive landmass. Look at the abundance of rain in this massive. So water left and right and from up. Nigeria naturally will be flooded, and with mountains making it easier also for high velocity movements. So if we understand this simple hydrology of Nigeria, we now know that yes, government have to take flooding serious because Nigeria is a basin that collects all the waters. So how to now channel this water? It's also simple. building of buffer dams, also increase our channels, river dredging, river trainings. These are all hydrological structures also put in place, and that will have solved it. Maybe in the next 3-4 years, have a comprehensive plan, which we have done. It's just for the government to begin to execute this. And in the next 3-4 years, the effect of flooding will have been greatly minimized. The
early warning systems you have in place in your agency, how sufficient is it for a country like Nigeria?
Good. It's not sufficient, actually, because according to the WMO, World Meteorological Organization, hydrometric stations should be at least minimum 432.
432
across Nigeria.
What do you have
minimum
presently?
And we have less than 150. So it's grossly not, and the spread also. So these are the challenges. So if you have that minimum hydrometric stations, fine, that's the minimum. So our accuracies, our predictions, and also ability to mitigate will be better and faster and easier for the people.
Absolutely.
Yes, so
are there
that
other
is it.
Issues, other challenges that you might want to address very quickly before we wrap?
And other issues also has to do with equipment. Like I said, that when there is flooding, of course, NIMED talk about life loss, farmland, these. Don't talk about also hydrological, critical hydrological structures also and equipment washed away. They are also washed away.
So you also are the receiving end
Exactly. So, and they need to be installed back and to keep on reading, and we can give alert and forecast and things like that. So we are also affected. And government also have to understand that, and them also have to understand that. So these are the challenges as an hydrological services agency that we have.
Well, I'm glad you've been able to bring, government's attention to some of these challenges so that next year you'll be better equipped, to inform Nigerians on what to do. Femi Bejide, Director Operational Hydrology at the National Hydrological Services Agency. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight.
My pleasure.